Alright, this is our gas kiln here at the center, one of our gas kilns. We have quite a few. It's really just a test kiln. It's designed for doing rapid fire ends, going up to temperature pretty quick, being able to do it again and again pretty quickly. It's not a very big kiln, it's strictly a fiber kiln, but it's going to do what we need today, and it's going to fit our sculpture really well. So let's go ahead and grab that. Alright, this is the part that I get the most nervous about, moving the artwork before it's fully fired, because it's scary. Even though this one's nice and fairly light, let me shut this door. It's fairly light, but it's still, you know, a little bit tumbly on here. So here we go. We're gonna pick it up, carry it out the door. I guess you can see that. Let me move you just a scotch. Ready? Ah! All right, here we go. Fingers crossed. All my thoughts are on doing this, not on anything else. You also don't really want to bump the glaze. We're chipping it. Alright, well, it looks like I have quite a bit of space left there, you can see by on top. So I think I'm going to try to get another shelf in there and put some pottery down below it. So let's do that. It'll take me a bit to get everything staged and ready to go. I've got to get carts and all that, so stand by. Okay, so I've got my stuff ready to go here. I got my stilts, high-fired ceramic stilts. These in the corner. Alright. Try that. So the first thing we do is we put our stilts down so we know how much room we have for our wear. Then we got to go grab our wear, which is several places. And in this case, we're firing disc bowls that are going high fire. Putting them in there so they don't touch, of course. Alright, so it's nice that this particular kiln has doors on each end. That makes it a little easier to work with. Now we're going to take some clay, which is just a little bit of damp clay. And we're going to make clay wads, because we're going to put our little bit of clay wads on top of our stilts. And I like to make them about the same size. And what this will do is when I put the shelf on there, if there's any misalignment or disconformity in the shelf or the other stuff, it'll make up the difference. So the next shelf will sit tight and square and flat and not be rocking and not wanting to knock the entire stack down. That would be bad for us. So we're going to take this little bit of wet, damp clay. We're going to stick it in my alumina hydrate, which will allow it to be on the stilt, be on the shelf, and not stick to anything. Gosh, that's awfully big. Let me make it a little bit smaller. You don't need to make these pads so big that I don't have any room for the rest of the artwork. So they just need to be a little bit, because there's really, oh, that doesn't sound good. I think somebody just had a car crash. A little one, not a big one. Can't see from here, I just heard it. Just heard it. Hope everyone's okay. All right, one more to go here. Alright, now we get to set our kiln shelf, and I'm making sure there's no dust and no things on the back here. They're going to fall on the wear because these sit outside for a bit. Now these are nice kiln shelves in that they're hollow. See the holes? Anyway, the fun part is always getting it in there just so. And voila! Now we're ready for the next layer. And in this layer, we're going to have our art piece on the end here. I'm going to wash my hands. No, I don't. Concentrating. Being careful here. All right, got a couple inches between the roof and the top of the art piece, so that's a good thing. There we are, blockhouse 1 in the kiln. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load the rest of this kiln. I might flop over to, time lapse or speed it up and let you guys watch the rest. It's just a standard kiln loading, only I'll be loading the other half and be just doing some bowls and stuff, and we hope it won't collapse for any reason. All right, here we go. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, stand by. Okay, I wanted to say this about these. These are my test kiln, my test samples. They're just basically little tiles that I make with the extruder, and they have a glaze test on them. with a note. And so we're making sure they get in this firing. So these are test cups. These also have test glazes and test glaze patterns on them. Okay, so we're ready to go. We're gonna start first thing in the morning. We're gonna fire all day and get this thing fired off. And here we go. Thanks for watching up till now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. She's ready to go. We got our fingers crossed. And here we go. All right, welcome back. We're ready to fire the high fire ceramic kiln. This is a small test kiln, even though it doesn't look that small. It's actually considered fairly small. It's a fiber kiln, so there's no actual brick in it. Well, there's a little brick on the floor anyway. Anyway, we've got our shelves, we've got our ware. Blockhouse 1 is actually on the other end of this kiln, but this is the kiln we light it from. So we're going to light this kiln pretty quick here. We're going to open the flue a little bit. Which is that guy up there. We got 4 burners on each side. They're pretty small. Gas turned on. Uh-oh. We have our column or inch gauge here that tells us how much gas we're using. This is a column or inch gauge. So it tells what the gas flow down the pipe is, so it tells us how much gas we're putting in the kiln at any one time. All right, let's get started here. Guess I'm not the old blowhard I thought I was. Okay, we have the kiln on just a little bit. That's called candling. But first, before I show you candling, what we're doing is we're preheating the kiln, or bringing the kiln temperature up slowly. We wanted to get through certain temperature ranges. It's not like a bisque kiln where we have to worry about moisture content so much, but we do bring up the kiln slowly to protect the kiln, protect the wear, you know, heat things slowly and all that. Plus, we're going to be at this for numerous hours firing this kiln. So we pilot we candle the burners, brings the temperature up slowly, and as we get to certain temperatures we turn up more gas. The gas air mixture is basically done through the maturity burners down here, so they come in at the appropriate rate. Anyway, we've got the kiln turned on. We're going to fire this today. It's going to take most of the day. Not a very exciting thing, but we'll show you how we check the temperature here in a minute with our temperature gauge, or thermocouple, I think they call it. And let's go ahead and get you a close-up of this candling and what it looks like from like right here. Really not a lot of heat yet, you know. You can still touch everything. About 20 minutes, these kiln shelves up here are going to be so hot that you won't want to touch them. So it does build temperature pretty quick. This is a very fast firing kiln, so that can be a little concern for us. It's not a great reduction kiln. It's a much better oxidizing kiln, which is fine, because most of the things I like to do, especially for the art, is oxidation. So here we go. We got our fingers crossed that the kiln gods are going to be with us this time and everything is going to come out normal. Mostly a lot of bowls in there, a lot of test cups and test chips, and then blockhouse one. All right, here we go. Let's take a quick look at the candling process up close. Okay, here's the candling process up close. You can see that these burners are on just a little bit, or maybe you can't. It's going to be hard to know. And even this side, you can see over here that this is up. But you can kind of get a feel for what it's like to load a ceramic kiln. Well, you probably got some of that with watching me load it the other day. But this is the process for firing it. These are our witness cones. These will melt at a certain temperature. When the temperature reaches the right degree, and when the heat saturation reaches the correct amount. And heat saturation is slightly different than temperature. Heat saturation is more important in some ways, in the sense that you need certain heat saturation for the glaze and the clay bodies to do the thing they need to do and melt at the rate they need to melt. Alright, so we have a witness cone down here and another one up there, and those cones line up with these holes in the door, and we can open the plugs on the other side and look in on these when it's firing and see where we're at. Besides having a gauge or pyrometer to tell us where we're at, so we're going to leave this open a little bit and wait for that temperature to come up. And we're over here with our pyrometer. So we have a pyrometer, which is a probe stuffed in here, and this guy right here that shows us what our temperature is right now. Right now we're at 248 degrees according to the pyrometer, Fahrenheit, and it's climbing fairly quickly, which we expect it to do. And sure, that's about it for now. So we're gonna sit back and take our time with this. Like I say, it's gonna be most of a day project, and we'll probably show you a few more clips and then the grand reveal when it's cooled down tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining me. Okay, we're about halfway through the firing, maybe a little more. We're a little more. We're at 1840 degrees by the pyrometer, which looks like this. And we're also at very red heat. So when I look in the spy hole, which is on the other side of the kiln from us, which we're going to look at in a minute here, I pull that little bit out and I look in there and I can see my cones and see where they're at. We're nowhere near the temperature we're going to get for cone 6, but we're climbing at a pretty good rate every hour, the normal rate. I think it's 108 degrees an hour, so we still got a couple hours left to go. It's good and red hot right now. Let me show you what it looks like when I pull my inspection ports or peephole cover off and look inside. All right, so that's on the other side of the kiln. Let's take a look at that now. Now we don't want to stick our face too dramatically in front of the spy hole in case there's a lot of flame coming out. So we'll do it like this. We'll get a good look. Look down inside there, and I can see my cones really well because it's not really that hot yet. It's hot, it's red hot. In fact, what it looks like is it looks like this. All right, so that's what it looks like when I look inside this hole. I don't know how much you can really tell. You have to really study it to see the cones in there on the kiln shelf. But that's what it looks like right now. We're burning 4 column inches of gas and we're using 4 column inches of gas while we're firing this at this point. We've got a good red heat, as you've seen, and we're progressing really nicely. Anyway, this is what it's like to fire a gas ceramic kiln. You basically have to hang out all day and pay attention to it. You can't go away, you can't forget about this. That would be bad for the equipment, it would be bad for the art. So I'm babysitting the kiln today, yay! The electric kiln we can walk away from, the gas kiln we can't walk away from. All right, come on back when we're just about to turn this off. It'll look a lot like this. Not much to see, but there's a lot going on in there. The glaze and the ceramics are red hot. They're starting to melt. They're not quite melting yet, but they're close. And we're gonna get it really hot, get it really glassy on the surface. We're gonna make sure that all the bubbles and all the things fuse and fully melt. Then we're gonna turn it off. And then tomorrow we get to come in here and see if we have any miracles in there. Which we have our fingers crossed, we always do. Things are working well. It's always a good sign. All right, stand by till we come back and shut this off. All right, well, we're finally there. We're finally at that point where we can turn the kiln down to soak. So basically what that means is we've reached our temperature that we want to be, and our cones have bent the amount they're supposed to bend and touched. And we want to soak the kiln for a little bit to give any chance for any bubbles that might be on the surface of the glaze to settle out, to even out, and be basically a very smooth surface of the glaze. So we do this for about 15 minutes. We turn it down quite a bit. There's still heat going in there. It still has a good heat saturation, but essentially we're done. So the last half an hour, 45 minutes have been the exciting part of firing a kiln, which is where you can't really go anywhere. You have to stay here. You have to check every 5 minutes or more to see where your heat is, see where your heat saturation is, and when the cones tell you that it's time to turn off the kiln, you turn off the kiln. The pyrometer I have does not necessarily agree with the kiln cone temperatures. We rely more on the cone temperatures in this firing of this kiln because it tells us more about heat saturation, which is more important than just plain temperature. Anyway, kiln is done. Kiln is in soak mode. We have spent our 45 minutes here hovering around the kiln, basically slower than watching paint dry. So exciting. This is the exciting part, I guess. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Tomorrow afternoon we'll probably end up being able to open this up when the heat gets out of it, and we're gonna see what we got with Blockhouse 1. So thanks for hanging around and enjoying this, and please like and subscribe. Thank you. time to open the kiln. I'm excited. The kiln's been sitting overnight. It's pretty cold here, so it's actually quite cool, which is pretty amazing. If it's the summertime, we'd have to be, you know, a couple more hours with the door cracked. I did come in earlier and bump the door open just a little bit. So now we're actually going to open the door and see what we got inside. Now this is the side that doesn't have the sculpture in it, but it has the witness cones and everything else. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that looks really good. See, my cones are exactly as I expect them to be. Alright. See my little flue? It turned out just how I wanted it to be. This is the flue for the house. See, it's metallic mostly. Alright, let's go ahead and open the other side. Are you ready for this? I'm ready for this. Let's hope this is coming out great. Very sunny this morning. It's really nice and warm after a very cold last night. Oh, look at that. Let me get this up far enough. It's kind of a pillar in the way. But from what I can see, it looks really good. Not too hot. Wow, that looks fabulous. I have a couple of quickie things here. Now these are sample cups for different glaze tests and other things. Let's go ahead and get that. Let's go ahead and get the probe out of the door, since that doesn't stay here all the time. All right. So this is the probe that sits in the kiln, and this part pretty much sits in the kiln, and it connects to my electronic reader that tells me what the temperature of the kiln is, at least at that point. So it doesn't read heat saturation, it just reads temperature. I know you're most interested to see how the sculpture turned out, so why don't we take that out first. Wow. Oh my God. I just love it. I just love it. Oh, it's perfect. You know, we don't have a lot of expectations with these because we really don't know with the glaze firing what we're going to get. I'm going to move you guys a little closer. I'm going to lower you a little bit. There we go, maybe a little closer, and you can see that. I need to know. Wow, look at that. Now, we only put one coat of glaze on the roof and whatnot of Lana's Rust. Not really sure how it would turn out, but it has turned out really, really cool. It has mossy green like a bad front lawn, which is what I want. I did want this sculpture to look distressed, not brand sparkly shiny new, and I've gotten that here with these colors that are muted. I'm really encouraged by the fact that our underglaze did not burn out in a glaze firing. That's really awesome. None of the colors have burned out. This peach has lightened up a little bit, but that was a combination of two primary colors, but still peach or pinkish. The roof, which we'll do some photos here in a minute, is absolutely perfect. It looks like a moss covered stone tile in the light green, tan, brown, gray, white. Just wonderful. The woodwork looks like woodwork. Let's go ahead and turn this. Yeah. So at this moment, I'm thinking I'm not gonna fire this again. I'm probably gonna just leave it just like it is. Really love it just the way it is right now. Love the muted colors. Love the effect of the groundscape and everything. I think it just has turned out really well. Really excited about it. You know how vibrant that blue is, even from a gas firing. And there are some really interesting browns and colors. Now I probably could have gone another little bit heavier on the groundscape color, but I think I'm going to learn to love it just the way it is. I actually do love it the way it is. But I think I would love it 2 or 3 or 4 different ways as well. So we're not going to fire this again. So the next thing for us to do on this is actually to make the little metallic handrails that I plan to make, which we'll probably make out of a copper wire and solder them together and try to get something just plain, and then patina that so it's a green color. But boy, oh boy, did this turn out well. Yeah. I want to get this back in the studio into a safe spot. Boy, a lot of noise around here today. So yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us. I might end the video here, and if I do, this isn't the end of this. There'll be another little bit when we do the wire, but we're really close to finishing this sculpture. I'm really excited about that. Let's go ahead and go back to the front face. I love my little cabin window up here. The glass turned out really well. With the bleed through and whatnot, it looks like dirty glass. I think that's great. The wood frames have turned out well. It turned out that the iron oxide did not bleed into the surrounding edge, so that's nice. There's just the hint of the yellow from the wash that we put in here, which is nice. Some are a little better than others. All right, so anyway, thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe.